What is happening, everybody? Jameseyyy here, another part of Tales of Rise. So last time we freed the city from Kelzelik's control, so now we've got that here and everyone else in the party. So let's carry on, shall we? Again guys, as always, there's limited commentary, so sit back and enjoy the game. Thank you.
I'm amazed how easily you can move such a giant shield around like it's nothing.
Really? It's not actually as heavy as it looks.
It's really reassuring to have someone like you protecting us, though.
You know, I guess I never realized it before, but looking back, I've always been the sort to put myself in harm's way to protect those around me, even before I joined the Elde Menancia Guard. So in a way, using this shield to keep you all safe feels like it's what I was meant to do.
You don't need to worry about protecting me. I don't plan on relying on you.
That's okay. It doesn't matter if you do or not. I don't protect people because they ask me to. I do it because I want to, and because I think it's the right thing to do. That goes for you too, Dohalim.
Me?
Yes. You see, you and I both want the same thing. We have the same goal. That means it's in my best interest to continue to protect and keep you safe as well. Even now.
I'm not sure how much protecting I'll need either, but I appreciate the thought. I'm sure you'll do us proud, Kisara.
Right. You can all count on me.
What was Kelzelik even after in the end?
Isn't it obvious? Clearly he wanted the throne for himself, and was gonna have his goons execute Dohalim to get it.
He had to have known he couldn't hope to defeat a lord. He should have run while he had the chance, instead of holding himself up in the palace.
Maybe he thought he couldn't run? Either way, the outcome's the same.
So he got desperate and decided to go for broke?
One might argue that he was another victim of mine, in a sense.
Huh?
There is no greater calling in life to a Renin than the crown contest, yet I refused to take part. The shock he felt at that must have been truly immense. Enough to drive him to revolt, even though doing so meant defying Renin hierarchy.
I know I've said this before, but Danins and Renins wouldn't coexist here if it wasn't for your stance.
But that was no lofty idealism on my part, nor do I feel any pride at what occurred.
Spare us the pity party. You literally just joined us to uphold those ideals.
Shion?
No, she is absolutely correct. I shall speak no more of my misgivings.
Do you sense one of your friends, Hoodle?
Mahag Sar. That makes 4 out of the 5 realms that I've visited now.
I wonder what kind of lord we're gonna find there.
It doesn't matter. If they try to get in our way, we'll take them down and...
Let's dispose of the trash.
I never miss! Here comes Thunderblade! Gemini Aqua!
First strike!
Stay right! You gotta jump for cover, okay?
Eternal devastation! Run you through!
Thunder Field! Fierce Flame! Rage
Nonsense! Blew away! Dragon Shout!
This could be useful. There's something in the water. I didn't realize there was a pond here.
Yeah, this is Taka Pond. And it happened to have saved my life once upon a time.
What do you mean?
As a kid, I survived life under the past lords by escaping here when I needed to. It's terrible to swim in, but great for catching a bite for dinner away from Renin eyes. Bear in mind, our rations back then weren't enough to live off of. You had to take matters into your own hands if you wanted enough food to survive.
But how did you catch them? With your bare hands?
That might take a while. Fish are prone to swim away at the first sign of trouble. I'd put bait or a lure on a line and use it with a fishing rod. You must not be familiar with fishing if this sounds new to you. Here, let me show you how it's done. Now where might those fish be? Not my lucky day, I guess. Ha! Nothing's biting. Looks like I lost it. Not my lucky day, I guess. And that's all there is to it.
Wow. It seems like you need to have good reflexes to catch anything. I don't know if it's really for me. Kisara? I think I've seen enough.
Oh, sorry. I guess I'm just in my own little world when I go fishing.
Looks like we're going to be here for a while.
That's how fishing goes. You wait for a bite, and then the real battle begins. Miguel told me that different fish live in different regions, and you have to pick the right rod and lure for what you're hoping to catch.
But that doesn't change the fact it's a giant time sink.
Of course, each fish has its own unique flavor, too. And some of them are supposed to be extremely delicious.
When you put it like that, maybe it's worth me trying my hand at fishing after all.
You're just in it for the food.
I was hoping we'd get to fish during our travels. And it just so happens I made sure to grab my brother's old rod before I left Vicente. So, if you ever feel like fishing when we've got a little downtime, just let me know.
Good to hear. Thanks for showing us. Okay!
I'm always amazed what healing up.
Hey. Is it just me, or have those two barely spoken a single word to one another?
I know, right? But after everything that happened with Miguel, is it really any wonder?
Kinda puts a damper on the whole journey, though, huh? How long do you think they're gonna keep this up?
If it bothers you that much, why don't you ask them?
Why do I have to ask?
How come you walk together like that?
She really doesn't beat around the bush.
You mean Kisara and myself?
You hadn't noticed? You've been practically joined at the hip ever since we left Vicente.
I guess it's force of habit, most likely. I was always ready to protect him, should the need arise. It sort of came with the job description.
Right. From being in the Elde Menancia Guard. Although, Dohalim's pretty capable of defending himself, isn't he?
Having guards doesn't necessarily mean the one being guarded is weak. No one's perfect all the time.
Even so, it's not like they're entirely wrong, Kisara. You're no longer in my employ, after all.
I don't know. I mean, if it's what she's used to and you're both comfortable with it, then who are we to judge?
But she doesn't serve him anymore. It isn't normal for her to keep following him around like she still does.
You know, she's probably right. And a lot has changed over the last few days. I guess it wouldn't hurt to rethink our relationship in light of the new circumstances. Perhaps I'll give it some thought after all. Does that sound all right by you?
Of course.
You might want to stop asking his permission for every little thing while you're at it.
Sorry. It's not that easy, shaking off old habits. I'll probably need a little time to get fully used to it. I've noticed that sometimes we come across enemies who fight like you, and try to dodge our attacks at the last second.
I hate those guys. I can get some hits in when they move into attack, but otherwise they slip past damn near everything else I throw at them.
If what you're seeking is a way to more reliably hit them, there is a solution.
Try to outclass them on reflexes?
I possess the ability to command Earth elemental beings to some extent. They emerge as the land itself and take root on my command. They will swiftly bind the enemies, at which point you can dispatch them.
Huh?
What he means is that he can make plants grow to hold the enemies in place. At least I think that's probably what he's saying.
I'm glad at least one of us understands him. So basically, if we find an enemy that likes to dodge, we should let Dohalim handle it.
I shall do what I can within my modest means to help. Something feels odd here. Be on your guard.
This won't be easy.
Here I come!
Don't be such
Not
a
today!
Radiant
Flash!
Airborne beast.
You're mine! Double Phoenix Bang! Got flyer!
I've got this.
Take
Let
it.
a marksman handle it.
Watch this!
All yours! Double Phoenix Bang! Crush!
Into the shadow.
I'm on it!
Take this!
You got it away.
Blow away! We've turned the tables on you.
There are still more left.
Right! No time to hold back!
Get ready. This one's got your name on it.
Ashes to ashes!
Excited.
Now!
And again.
You're finished!
Mega ray. I never miss.
No escape!
Here's my awesome.
It's on.
Redo it.
Talent Hurricane!
There you go.
I know fine weapon material when I see it.
All right.
There's nowhere to run from my heart! When he slows down, that's our chance! Can't get out of this!
Like trying to keep up with the wall.
It's over!
By the power of water.
You require a hand.
No further!
Raging sword. I'm out of ammo. Crumble. I'm all stuffed up. Photon get to the way. Aqua. Air thrust. Light astral.
Eat it!
Prepare to be sealed or fleet of foot. Actually, perhaps bound is more appropriate.
Let's talk in more doing. Air thrust.
In a bind?
Photon raging sword. Here I go.
Prepare to be sealed.
Raining flash!
In a bind?
Mega ray.
Roll away!
Roll
Take
it.
it! A dragon kick it!
Raging cascade.
Internal devastation!
In here. Annihilation. Do it. Look at it. Astral energy.
Say no more! Got it!
Well done.
storm! Blew away!
By the power of water! Do it!
Eternal dawn! Look sharp! Lightning tiger blade!
Got some interesting moves there, Dohalim. I'm glad you're on our side.
I'm simply glad to hear that I can make myself useful to you all. Huh?
What's wrong?
We seem to have come across some rather unusual objects.
What, you mean that pile of garbage?
No mere garbage, I assure you. Still, I've never seen anything shaped like it before. I'm intrigued.
Are you curious about this stuff, Rinwell?
Yeah. I think he might have found some old Danon relics. They look like the remains of a bunch of objects that disappeared after the Renans first invaded.
And yet here I am, holding them without so much as a second thought. I imagine the sight must be unsettling to you.
Not really, just that it must be nice to be a Renan who has time to indulge in stuff like that, unlike the rest of us.
Are you interested in this stuff too, Dohalim?
Charmed may be a better turn of phrase. I simply love objects that can give me a sense of what their maker was thinking, the history that went into their creation. You see, we Renans have hardly any such objects that trace back to our distant past.
I still don't understand what you two find so intriguing about it, though.
Why not? We're talking about our own culture here.
I get that, but it's not like this stuff is any use now, does it? It's just old. Real old.
Oh, but it does. Holding it in your hands like this, one can feel and engage with the distant past in a way no history book can ever accomplish.
I'll take your word for it. Well, seeing as it's Danon history, just make sure you're careful with it. All right, Dohalim?
But of course. There's history in the air here. I can smell it.
I don't smell anything.
I just noticed none of you other Danons have spirit cores. Why is that?
Both of my parents were part of the resistance in Calaglia. In fact, my birth was kept a secret from the Renans.
Mine too. We always lived in hiding, so I never had a spirit core embedded in me like I was supposed to.
What about you, Alphen? You were a slave in Calaglia before all this, weren't you?
To be completely honest, I'm not sure why I don't have one. All the other Danon slaves around me did. I was the only exception. They tended to keep their distance from me to avoid attracting any attention from the soldiers, because of my mask and all. What about you, Kisara? Do you still have your spirit core?
No. I was able to find a good Renan doctor who's sympathetic to our kind, and had them remove it before I left. They did such a great job, the procedure didn't even leave a scar.
One of the benefits of coexistence, huh?
I know that once the spirit vessel was shut down, there wasn't much need for me to hurry. But still, I didn't like having that mark of servitude lingering on me any longer than I had to. It may sound a little strange to hear me say this, but I'm just me now. Not a guardsman or a slave. I'm my own woman. And this is my chance to have a new beginning.
Visibility along this path will remain limited for some time. Take care not to get ambushed.
I'm surprised you know the terrain here so well. Lords don't strike me as having much time for wandering in the woods.
Sometimes I would take strolls along here when I wished to be alone.
You always did have a bad habit of disappearing without telling any of us guardsmen.
This sure is one rugged road. You'd think they'd keep this at least a little better maintained, right?
Why spend energy fixing that which is rarely used? Repairs require time and effort, which in our world means slaves, often in great numbers. For you, it may be a simple request, but that can quickly become another's difficult burden. Nobody gains anything without someone expending effort.
And you know, somehow that someone always ends up being a Danon, while the Renans are the ones who gain.
True enough. Ideally, in a perfect world, I think it's only fair that the ones who need it should be the ones to perform the work.
However, when doing so could be dangerous like it is here, there are many who would prefer that it be others who risk their lives in their stead.
So, what you're saying is that people will just put up with the inconvenience until someone else comes along to fix it for them?
Indeed. And it is those who can no longer bear that feeling that inevitably take action. Much like the Danons in our group do so now. As strange as it may be to hear such a thing from the likes of myself.
It's true that most of the Danons in Calaglia have been resigned to just accepting things as they are. Still, we can't just blame them for...
What are you making that face for? You're not worn out already, are you?
Nah, just regretting I ever said anything in the first place. Looks like trouble with a capital T!
Together, we got this! You're mine! Dragon Swarm! It's over!
I'm also good with airborne targets. Flame of Fury!
Airborne scoundrel!
Sounds like a job for yours truly.
Here I come! You're finished!
Go away! Can't get out of this!
Here I come! Blow away! Double Demon Fang! Eat dirt! Raining Slash! I'm not done! Now! You're finished!
I'll finish you here and now!
Raining Slash! Eternal Devastation!
Frozen
Hammer! There's always room for improvement.
It's over! First strike! You picked the wrong fight! You're mine! Blow away! It's over! Double Demon Fang!
Flying freak!
That's my cue.
Sion, can you take care of them? Shut him down!
Hey,
Now, don't get in trouble again.
Bubbling to me!
Blow away! Raining Slash! I'm not here! Blow away!
I'm out.
Next!
These little ones are hardly worth our time.
Less talking, more pummeling.
Cut them apart to your heart's
Here
content.
I come! It's over!
If it's in the sky, it's mine.
You picked the wrong fight! My turn! Double Demon Fang! Eternal Devastation!
Healing here goes.
So much for sitting this fight out.
That wouldn't be a complaint.
You're finished!
Nope, that'd be silly.
Raining Slash!
By the power of water.
Eat this! Take this! Can't get out of this!
I'm not done! Blow away!
Here. I'm out.
Double
I'm
Demon
out.
Fang!
Annihilation.
You're
Flame
mine!
of Fury. This ends now.
Consider yourself finished!
You're quite the gunslinger.
I have to be, in this world.
Don't worry, I've got your back.
It's so hilly around here. I can feel my feet getting blisters.
That's mountain hiking for you. It can be pretty tough if you're not used to these sorts of trails.
An opponent like this should be easy.
Here I go! Now you see what I can do!
You're finished!
one's mine.
Swallow dance! Take this time! Eat dirt!
That freaking does it!
Take this!
Where are you going?
It's over!
Hey, when did I get so popular?
Now!
The enemy wields arcs too.
You'll soon see about that!
It's over!
Healing circle!
Here I come!
I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw! Dragon shout!
The raining
Here's
sun!
the raging cascade!
Do it!
Kisara! Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone!
There!
Now!
Now!
Take this!
Kisara! Go for it!
Prepare to crumble! Hold up! Is this as valuable as I think it is? I'm like bait to them! It's time!
Dance in the wind!
Take this!
In here! Let's get you all tucked away!
Take this!
Sleep now!
Blow away!
Seal!
Eternal devastation!
Hurricane!
Not today! We've turned the tables on them.
There are still more left!
Right!
Primed and
No
ready.
time to hold back!
Not on my watch! This one's Leave the enemy's arms to me!
You're finished!
No complaints here!
Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade!
Could have been worse.
It'll be a breeze. Get in, get out!
Take this!
Now you see what I can
Double
do!
Demon Fang!
Searing flame!
Blow away!
Glacial spear!
Eternal devastation!
I'm surrounded!
Freeze Lancer! Thunder Field!
It's on!
Will this help?
Damn it! Too fast!
Stand back. I'll trip it up.
Healing circle! I'll bring you back from death. Thank you. Go for it!
Prepare to crumble!
I'll bring you back from death.
You require
Now I'm real mad!
Raging cascade! I'll bring you back from death's abyss. Get on in there with the others. I'll bring you back from death's abyss. Gale Force! More with that. Bring you back from death's abyss. Dance in the wind! Air thrust! Bring you back from death's abyss. Dance in the wind! In here! More for the top. This one's mine. Gravitas field!
We got the advantage!
Good. Just have to make sure we keep it.
Don't worry, because Rod Eat this!
Healing circle!
Thanks!
Not on my watch!
Crumble!
Take this! I owe you one! Raining Splash!
Ready and raring!
Double Demon More! Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade!
See that?
That training's paying off!
Dragon shout!
It's over!
Into the
You're
shadows!
on!
More for the stockpile! Mega Ray! Watch and
First strike!
Champion Swirl! Up and
Double
down!
Demon
Let's
Fang!
do it!
Raining Splash!
I felt better, that's for sure. This might be some decent equipment.
Anything that makes battles easier is okay by me.
More Danon ruins here too, I see.
What were people even thinking back then?
No choice! Raining Pistol!
Carve through armor!
Lunar corruption!
Double Demon Fang!
Water!
Eternal devastation!
Dragon!
My turn!
That frickin' does it!
Mega
Here I
Ray!
come! Ignite!
Dragon!
Now we're
Now
not. You're finished! Mirage! Eternal devastation! Commander of Heaven! Phoenix Cyclone! Ground! Take this!
I'm ready to now.
I'm on a roll now!
Saving this one.
Double Demon Fang!
Dragon Shell! Am I on a roll or what?
Well, look who's in a bright and shiny...
Little help!
Here I come!
Where are you going?
I'm on it!
I'm ready!
Take this!
Sleep
Take
now.
this!
Here, this one's mine!
It's over!
I'll need more!
Ready? Double Demon Fang!
Flame of Terror! Glacial Spear! Pierce the sky! We're in the home stretch, guys! What she said? Watch your back!
Eyes on the clock.
That focus goes double for you, Law.
Me? How come I get singled out?
Eternal devastation!
Take this! I'll finish you here and now!
Dance in the wind! Dragon Shell!
You're finished! You picked the wrong fight!
I sure have built up a sweat with this hike.
Rest assured, we have reached the top. It's all downhill from here, quite literally.
So... Mahag Sar's just up ahead, then?
Indeed. If you look, across this mountain is the Lord's Keep.
Still thinking about how to act around Dohalim?
That obvious, huh? Except I don't think I'll be changing much after all. Don't get me wrong, I'm not going to stay his servant. However, I am going to treat him like a fellow comrade, the same way I would with you or anyone else. For as long as I can remember, I've spent my life protecting others. But isn't that what friends do too? Support and protect one another in times of need?
Which in the end pretty much means doing as you've always done, right? If that's what you're most comfortable with, I'm certainly not going to give you any grief over it.
Actually, I've been thinking about how I ought to act around you all as well.
Oh?
When I set out on this journey, it was to rid Elde Menancia of its enemies and search for wisdom in the outside world. Wisdom that I could potentially put to use on my return. I'm grateful to you all for letting me tag along, but it got me thinking, what am I actually contributing by being here?
What are you talking about? You know how to hold a weapon, don't you? That's help enough.
Is it though? Sometimes I wish there was more I could be doing to pull my...
Oops, sorry about that. Jeez, I'm famished.
Now that you mention it, what do you guys normally do for food and meals when you're out and about on your travels?
What do you mean, what do we do? We find stuff to eat and eat it. So long as it's meat, I'm not fussy.
Eating what you like can be good for morale in the short term, but you need to think about your diet if you want to stay healthy.
Does that mean eating vegetables too?
Isn't that obvious?
It does, which I guess hasn't been happening up till now.
Yeah, to be honest, we could be eating better than we do.
Understood. In that case, I'll just have to make sure you're all staying healthy and eating right myself. Fortunately, I happen to know a thing or two about cooking as well.
You hear that, Law? Sounds like you'll be eating your greens after all.
What is it?
No, sorry, it's just... I was just wondering if you had any thoughts on all this.
It will do her good to have a project.
No, not Kisara. I meant you. Was there anything you wanted to add?
Me? Certainly you're not looking to me for culinary skill, I hope.
Typical Renan, leaving everything to someone else.
Rinwell, I don't think...
That said, should you need my skills on the battlefield, please rest assured I have no intention of shirking my responsibilities, regardless of who we may face.
I'm sure no one doubts that. Listen, guys, if we're traveling together, we should probably at least try to make an effort to get to know one another, don't you think?
I wouldn't get your expectations too high in that regard. Believe it or not, sometimes I'm not sure I even know myself all that well.
Something wrong? You look like you're deep in thought.
Not exactly. I was merely thinking about you two and your sense of etiquette.
Oh?
Etiquette?
Indeed. To be quite frank, I find your lack of manners to be nigh intolerable.
That's not being frank, that's being and forget it. Do we really need to talk about this now?
Yes, I find such impropriety on your parts to be deeply unsettling. It concerns me greatly.
What do you want us to do? We were slaves. We never got to learn how to be proper like you.
Yeah, what he said. Maybe you missed how we were just focused on surviving.
Perhaps, but Kisara here demonstrates that it's quite possible for a Denon to learn proper manners.
That's because I was given the opportunity to learn. Moreover, my duties as a guardsman required it. Not every realm is like Menancia, as you well know.
Yeah, I don't think it's fair to hold us to some other city standards.
Exactly. You've got to remember what it's been like for us living under the Rena elsewhere.
I will concede that you do indeed make a valid point. It would appear, for all my espousing the virtues of equality between our peoples, I was still looking down on the two of you.
You don't need to beat yourself up. I wasn't that offended by what you said, man.
Nevertheless, I shall mind my words from here on out. Having said that, I do believe you two would still benefit from learning the basics of proper society. I would be more than happy to teach you both when we camp out, if you like.
Yeah, no, I'll pass. Acting all prim and proper isn't really my style.
If you say so. How about you, Law? Would you like to learn? Although I suppose my first task is to reform your attitude toward the idea of good etiquette.
You're not gonna let this go, are you?
Hey, let's stop for a minute.
What's up? You already tired?
My armor's pretty heavy. I think I need a little rest.
I second that. All of this walking is starting to take its toll on me as well.
What? You don't look it.
We can't spare the time. There's places we need to be. Mahag-Sar's capital, Niez, is our destination right now.
But if one of us collapses, it will only serve to slow us down. And in your case, Alphen is the only one who could carry you. Best to rest while you have the opportunity.
Enough already! I need a break, so we're taking one.
I don't need you fretting over me.
Fretting? Hey, it's not like I'm...
Been looking for you.
For me? Why?
He's tough.
Who are you? You said you were looking for me. Why?
Beautiful, precious life.
What the...
That is all I desire.
Then why are we fighting? Who even are you?
Lunar corruption!
Take this!
Freaking does it!
Go on, Demon Fang! First strike! Crush!
Enjoy.
Light
You're mine!
asteroid!
Who the hell are you? Bastard!
This guy's not normal.
This speed is unbelievable.
You mean he even surpasses a lord?
It's too much! Here I come!
Seal! Healer Circle!
Turbo Demon Fang!
I'll run you through!
Take this!
This one's mine!
You're mine!
Where are you going?
Here! You picked the wrong fight!
Show me your strength.
Here
Now!
goes!
While it's reeling!
Take it down!
Here I come!
Here's the raging game! Seal!
I'm on it!
I'll just hate it!
Don't get in trouble again.
You're mine!
Mega ray! Banana, let's go!
I'm on it!
Lightning
Freaking
again!
good now!
Cover the castle!
Ready to go! This isn't looking good!
Shiny!
Even fa-
Oh, go on, Hero.
Is that all that you've got? Very well. Then die.
Oh. His mask.
A wretch like you?
No.
Till next time.
Fuck you. He might be a lord.
Shion, wake up, please!
Alphen?
Shion!
Thanks, but you're kinda crushing me.
Sorry.
It's okay. And so am I. It's not as bad as it looks.
Not bad. That's... Shion, we thought
I'm
you were...
fine. Really.
I thought the rest of his mask was going to crack then.
What the hell were you thinking?
Well, you were trying to protect me too, you know.
Yeah, but I have the sword. It's different.
It's not different. Besides, Never mind. It's nothing. Anyway, thank you.
But I didn't... Look, I'm just glad that you're...
Remembering more.
Alphen?
Sorry.
That guy said he'd be back. I think maybe we should get moving before he returns, right?
Rinwell has a good point. We need to go. Shion, are you sure you're okay?
Shion, are you sure you're okay?
Yeah, I already applied some healing arts to it. It didn't even leave a scar.
But his sword went nearly straight through you.
I'm all right. Unless I've turned into some kind of ghost and I'm haunting you all right now.
No, I know you're not. It's just...
Look, I appreciate you looking out for me, but I'm fine. Really.
There was also that strange light that appeared when Xion was stabbed. It seemed to make the enemy retreat when he saw it. Alphen, do you have any idea what it might have been?
A light? I don't know. I was kind of preoccupied with other things at the time.
Now that I think of it, between that light and the blazing sword, just what sort of person are you, Alphen? Can you use Danan astral arts like Rinwell, perhaps?
He wouldn't know, Dohalim. He doesn't have any memories from his past, remember? Besides, we should really be getting out of here.
I suppose you're right. Forgive me. We've almost reached Niez, the capital of Mahag Sar. With any luck, we'll find a place there for Xion to rest.
Hey.
Before we do.
How are you holding up after that last fight? You're not too hurt, are you?
I'm fine, really. See for yourself.
If things get too tough out there, go ahead and fall back. I can take a beating if I need to.
I'm not here just to stand around and have everyone protect me.
I get that, but there's nothing wrong with admitting you have weaknesses too.
Do I look like I'm just trying to put on a brave face to you?
I can't feel pain. But you still can, can't you?
Look, I appreciate you're trying to look out for me, but even you go down in fights from time to time. Please, stop trying to babysit me. It's getting old.
It's not that. I just...
Yes. Doesn't look as bright as Elde Menancia, does it?
Are we in the right place? This place looks like a mess.
Yes, this is Niez, the capital of Mahag Sar.
I don't see any signs of people. And the buildings.
Yeah, this doesn't seem like the kind of place people would actually live.
No soldiers, no Danans, not a soul to be seen. Yet look at these facades. This is clearly a Renan district.
Hey, check out that drawing on the castle gate. That's the Darkwing's crest.
Who?
It's from an old Danan legend about a hero who defeated an evil king with a torch and their trusty owl. That's his crest. I'm sure of it.
Really? First time I'm hearing it. So if someone drew it on the gate...
It must mean the Renans have lost control of the city.
Are you suggesting the Danans rose up and defeated the Lord here? Hard to believe, but not entirely unthinkable, given the evidence.
Let's look around and see if we can find someone. They might be able to tell us what happened. This is horrible.
Is there truly no one here?
Right guys, I'm actually going to leave it there, so next time we will be looking around the areas and see what's happened. So thank you all again for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Cheers everyone and take care.